Ryan Blaney didn't hold back. When the dust settled at Gateway, when the cameras zoomed in and the engines cooled, the number 12 Ford driver wasn't just frustrated, he was stunned. Not because he lost the race, not because he spun, but because it was Kyle Larson, of all people, who took him out. A fellow champion, a so-called friend. And Blaney made sure the world knew just how deeply that cut. "I just wanted to know what I did to deserve it," Blaney said, still shaking his head long after the checkered flag waved. Simple words, honest words, but they carried weight, emotional weight, because what happened on that track didn't just take away stage points. It cracked the surface of a fragile trust between two of NASCAR's best. See, this wasn't just some rookie mistake in the back of the pack. This was a full-blown ambush in the heat of battle. Two champions going wheel to wheel for position as Stage 2 wound down. Larson dove in from way down low, deeper than he ever should have gone into Turn 3. His number 5 Chevy slid up the track like it was on ice. Blaney, holding his line like a pro, never even saw it coming. Larson clipped the left rear, and just like that, Blaney was spinning. He didn't crash, he didn't wreck out, but he could have. And when you're fighting for a championship, spins like that don't just sting, they sabotage. Sure, Blaney recovered. He clawed his way back to a 4th place finish, which on paper looks like a win. But anyone watching knew the truth. Gateway could have been his race. That spin didn't just cost him points, it cost him a shot at control, momentum, respect. And that's where the real story begins. Because after the race, under the bright pit road lights, Blaney marched straight to Larson, not to fight, not to scream, but to ask a question that's been echoing across NASCAR since Sunday. What did I do to deserve it? Let me explain what makes that so powerful. These aren't just competitors. These are two guys who grew up in the same garages, racing each other from the dirt tracks to the biggest stage in motorsports. There's history here. There's a bond. Or at least there was. Larson tried to play it cool. He said all the right things to the media. "I just told him I messed up," Larson admitted. "Wasn't meaning obviously to go in there and hit him. I just misjudged the point of where I wasn't going to get next to him and tuck in. I just clipped him." But just clipped him doesn't cut it in the playoffs. Blaney didn't buy it, not fully, not this late in the game. "Yeah, that's fine. Make mistakes," he said. "But at the end of the day, I still got turned." And he's right, because it doesn't matter if it was on purpose or an accident. It happened. Larson came in hot, slid up the track, and made contact. Intentions don't change results. And Blaney knows that all too well. This isn't the first time he's been sent spinning. In fact, 2025 has been brutal to Blaney. 7 DNFs, 7. That's more than almost anyone in the playoffs. And still, he's in the hunt. Still, he's fighting. Still, he shows up every week with a shot to win. But now he's got something else, something simmering just beneath the surface. "That's one I gotta remember," Blaney said, plain and clear. And you could feel the warning in his voice. That wasn't just a line for the cameras. That was a message to Larson and the rest of the garage. He's not forgetting, and he's not forgiving. Because in the next round, or the one after that, Larson might find himself in a spot where he needs a break, a little room, a little patience. But if Blaney's nearby, that favor might not come. Not anymore. What makes this even more intense is that the wreck wasn't necessary. Larson had just tried a similar move a lap before. He got to Blaney's door, made it stick, and they raced down the front stretch clean. But then he tried it again, too deep, too fast, and this time, he couldn't hold it. He gambled, and Blaney paid the price. So the question becomes, why? Why take that risk? Why now? And most of all, what happens next? There's something brewing in the garage, and you can feel it in the air. The kind of tension that doesn't show up in lap times or tire wear. It's in the glances, the interviews, the unsaid rules between drivers who know exactly how much room to give and when to stop giving it. Ryan Blaney isn't just holding a grudge. He's carrying a reminder, a warning. And Kyle Larson may have just lit the fuse on something bigger than a bump and spin. Because when you mess with a playoff driver at the wrong time, you don't just risk a wreck, you risk a war. Think about it. Larson didn't ruin Blaney's day, but he did damage something deeper. This wasn't an end-of-the-pack scuffle. This was a move that reshuffled stage points, altered momentum, and shifted how Blaney might race Larson in every round to come. And Larson knows it. He tried to smooth it over with the usual lines. "All on me," he said. "Wasn't intentional at all." I hope he understands that. But understanding doesn't erase a target. And make no mistake, Blaney now has the number 5 Chevrolet highlighted on his radar. This is what happens when trust breaks between champions. Suddenly, every pass becomes personal. Every dive bomb comes with a question. Is this the moment he pays me back? That's where Larson lives now. Inside Blaney's memory, under his skin. And that is a dangerous place to be in the playoffs. Remember, Blaney didn't get in Larson's face. He didn't shove or shout or cause a scene. He played it cool, calm, too calm. Because sometimes, silence speaks louder than anger. Sometimes the quiet ones are the ones you should fear the most. I was happy we bounced back, Blaney said after the race. Did a good job of timing out where we needed to be and having a good enough car to get back to 4th. That's the scary part. Even after getting spun, even after losing position, he still clawed back into the top 5. Imagine what he could have done if he hadn't been sent spinning. That wasn't just a P4 finish, it was a warning shot. A message to Larson and to every other driver. You can knock me down, but I will get back up, stronger. Now let's not pretend this was the only drama Larson stirred up at Gateway. No, because earlier in the race, Bubba Wallace also had words for the number 5 after a messy restart nearly turned into a disaster. Wallace's car got stuck in first gear, and Larson almost paid the price. But even then, Larson came out unscathed, physically at least. But all of these moments, they add up. You can be the nice guy all season long, the clean racer. But once you start making moves that cost other drivers points, positions, and playoff leverage, suddenly the garage gets real quiet when you walk in. Or worse, too loud. Blaney's not out for revenge, not yet, but he will remember. And if there's one thing NASCAR has taught us time and time again, it's that memory fuels mayhem. Look ahead to Bristol. Tight corners. Tempers always running hot. That's not a racetrack. It's a pressure cooker. If Larson finds himself side by side with Blaney again, you might want to hold your breath. Because what happened at Gateway wasn't just an oops moment. It was a message written in rubber and steel. You turn me, I don't forget. Larson's lucky this time. He's got a big cushion in the points. He'll almost certainly survive the round of 16. But playoffs aren't just about points. They're about psychology. And now, Blaney's got the mental edge, the silent chip on his shoulder. And Larson, he's just hoping it doesn't come back to haunt him. Because when Ryan Blaney says, "That's one I gotta remember," he's not bluffing. He means it. And NASCAR fans know what that means. So here's the question. Should Blaney give Larson the benefit of the doubt? Should he let it go? Or should he race him a little harder next time around? Maybe crowd him up the track. Maybe not lift if Larson dives in too deep? Or better yet, should Blaney wait for just the right moment, the perfect playoff stage, and show Larson exactly what it feels like to be the one spinning? You tell me, because forgiveness may be part of racing, but payback? That's part of the game.